Good evening, Libras, or if you are watching this at another time, good whatever time of the day or evening it is for you. I am back with another reading for us to give us some guidance from the fairies in regards to a lot of the reoccurring themes for us Libras in tarot lately. So, I couldn't help but notice that a lot of the tarot readings for Libra in general have had a lot of not only reoccurring themes, but specific cards that would come up. Sometimes, you are free to, of course, verify what I mean, or what I'm saying here, but like if you just do like Libra, like a search on YouTube for like Libra November 2022 and Libra today tarot, it seems like there's been a lot of Ace of Pentacles popping up, and the Empress. And we've been being encouraged to wow, I'm getting all shaky as I'm talking about this. We've been being encouraged to go with our intuition, and we're being guided and protected, and there for a lot of us was, or might still be, someone or something, but it seems to be someone for a lot of us that that we were giving a lot to, everything, maybe even more than we could really afford, energetically, financially, mentally, in terms of thinking about them and how to make a solid home. And it seems like they have either left or are leaving, but it seems for most of us they've already left or we've left them, and that some of us have received contact from them like this week, and some of us might receive it like this weekend or upcoming week, or I don't know. It's just been kind of heavy because it's like, oh, okay, maybe some of us, and that's been addressed too, don't even want to deal with the situation. Some of us are kind of like, we see how what it's going to affect, and some of us have maybe frozen in our tracks. Some of us in some of the readings have been recommended to break out of ancestral patterns, and then it's like, well, why are we tasked with doing this? Like, what about like our happy life? And then it's like, oh, but apparently, after you drop your 10 of Wands or whatever heavy energy, then you'll meet this magical person that will just take you to love school and make everything all better. And it's like, oh, after everything that just happened, maybe some of us might be a little on edge, and then it's all like the tarot called that out too, like, hey, yeah, some of you might be on edge, so like don't do that, because you might miss out on this person that apparently you made like a contract with or something. There's the guy Vince from 7D Tarot straight up said that apparently there's indication that you made this soul contract with someone and they're gonna come in now, and that if we meet them soon, we're gonna wonder, and maybe even say things like, why didn't we meet when we were teenagers? And apparently they're coming in, or for some people, they say that it's somebody coming back. But I think from hearing both things, it sounds like if it's something coming back, and if apparently some of us made this soul connection contract, then maybe that's why it's coming up with an energy of coming back. Like, it's not necessarily someone in this lifetime, but it's a familiar energy because it's someone that we already knew before we got here. Because I think for some of us, it sounds like, oh, so someone from the past is going to come back and we should keep our door open to them. I don't think that's the case. Because, I don't know, if you've been binge watching as much tarot as I have lately, because that's the only reason I even started coming back to tarot and things. Because it's like, oh, yeah, everything else I tried didn't work. So let's, this matches up. So let's go with it. And I was called to by my inner child to bring out my Faerie cards that I hadn't really messed with since I was like my son's age, and he's 15. So yeah, it's been a little while, like before he was born. And we're not going to do any tarot here. I mean, there's already so much tarot out there. And like I said, I brought up, and I'm sorry if that triggered anyone. Maybe I should put a warning because some of us might be sensitive to these things, and to have them just so called out might sting a bit, because it even hasn't been the easiest for me to talk about, because yeah, a lot of that hit close to home, because all of the hits took place at home, but financially and everything else, it's like, and of course the Three of Swords right through the heart, and that 10. Oh yeah, anyway, releasing that and asking the fairies for guidance. So I was inspired to do a reading style that I am going to place a card here, but it's not to represent us, it's to represent our guide or the fairy that has been with us through this most recent time, let's say today, or when we find this. And we're going to put other cards in the placement of wings. Like, what will strengthen our wings right now? What will strengthen our energetic selves? Satan's burning out. And then we'll finish with an angel and ancestor card to just add a direction and a reminder to us to complement the fairies and what they have to tell us. So let me cleanse this area, cleanse this space, cleanse these cards now while I was speaking, collect all that, transmute it. Let this make sense for everyone. Everyone find peace, guidance, clarity, support. And with that, let's shuffle on into our now, so we can see where we are, who's with us, what makes our wings strong. Okay, so here we are with the Singer of Transfiguration. And our wings are supported by Penelope Dreamweaver. Unity came up as well recently. Topsy-turvies, which is great. This is also the same image on the back of the cards. They are here. and so is Indy. All right, and here at the bottom of the deck is Iris of the Rainbows. Wow. So here, I'll put this here, or let's see. Let me look, because forgive my setup, I'm part of my setup. So here, we'll put this here. There we go. And let's jump right in. So here we are with the singer of Transfiguration. Transformation, transcendence, metamorphosis. The singer of Transfiguration tells us that we have been through the gate. We have passed through the initiation process, and we have reached a new way of being, reflecting deep transformation within ourselves. Things will never again be what they once were. And remember that reoccurring theme in tarot? Things will never be seen in the same way by us, and this is a good thing. Look at that. It's italicized. This is a good thing. That things will never be seen in the same way by us. This singer's joyful, passionate, bright blaze of color heralds a time of fulfillment and accomplishment. As with the other singers, the power and joy of this one radiates especially strongly to the things and beings symbolized by the cards around it. Okay, yes, very connected. Like the reborn, renewed phoenix. And the phoenix has been mentioned in a lot of the tarot readings too. But this is actually, I'm just reading this straight from this Faerie's Oracle deck book with art from Brian Froud and the text by Jessica Macbeth. So yes, like the reborn, renewed phoenix, this singer is aflame with vibrant, expanded life. Jessica says, there really isn't much I can say about this. Not even the fairies seem to have anything to add. They're just sitting around here smiling blissfully. Even old G Gloom. Oh, that's Gloominous Doom. Sorry, I said G Gloom. It's actually G Doom. It's abbreviated. Old G Gloom. Gloominous Doom. I said it again. Even old G Doom, and humming an ethereal and beautiful melody. And the cat in my lap, Sylvie, is purring so loudly it sounds like she's singing, as indeed she is. So are we all. And this would be Jessica Macbeth's cat, not mine. That's her note there. And having this in the reading says, jackpot. Wow, straight up. The first word is jackpot. This card in a reading signifies the joy of success after a time of struggle. What a welcome card. A new way of life has been accepted and is being integrated. A sense of inner peace is growing. The struggle has all been worth it. This is a time of consolidation and joy, and is both a reward for past achievements and a time of preparation for the next climb up the path. Wow. I mean, that's summed up in that very first sentence, which was a single word, which was just jackpot. Yes. Supporting our wings, we have Penelope Dreamweaver. That's Brian's. Wow, let's read this together. Penelope Dreamweaver, inspiration, magical dreams, visions. Yes, we've been encouraged to pay attention to our dreams a lot lately, with several of the different tarot readers encouraging us to do so. Weaver of dreams, bringer of visions, muse of artistic inspiration. Penelope weaves tapestries in the mind with threads of light, color, and sound. When she comes to us in dreams, we waken under her enchantment and rush for our paints or clay or other forms of expression. In this painting, Brian has shown us Penelope, his own inspiration fairy, but we each have a one who is more than willing to help us. Mine, and this is Jessica Macbeth, says to call her Grace because she says she isn't exactly someone that Jessica Macbeth deserves, but just someone she's lucky to have in her life. Wow, that's... It says, she plays hard at inspiring me, as does Penelope with Brian. Penelope says she's very pleased with Brian's results of her inspirations, but when I look hopefully at Grace to see what she thinks about me, she just shrugs her shoulders. Then she flashes me a wicked grin, so I think it is all right. Excuse me. So Jessica Macbeth's fairy sounds really fun. Then the, inspiration fairies like their jobs, but they get really bored when people don't pay attention, and that's italicized, pay attention to them. Then they sit around and file their fingernails while they think troublesome and mischievous thoughts. Sometimes they get exasperated enough to send us nightmares in an attempt to get us to wake up. Oh, spooky. So, wow. These fairies and their sisters, the fairies of expression, work together as teams, helping us in our creative endeavors. The fairies of inspiration sprinkle us with special inspirational fairy dust so that we come up with ideas. Rather like fertilizing a plant. And you know what plants are fertilized with, Grace says. Oh, wow. Yeah, straight up, they are fertilized with... Then their sisters, the fairies of expression, help us to give form to our creativity, manifesting it with our own particular talents. So this card in the reading says, seek visions and inspiration. Be aware that they are often subtle and require close attention. Fantasies, dreams, and daydreams are all places an inspiration fairy can contact us, but she can also pop up unannounced in the midst of the most ordinary of activities, in the bath, washing the dishes, driving the car, or anywhere else that our mind is half occupied and half running on idle. Pay special attention to unsought inspirations at this time. They have something wonderful to offer you, but it is up to you to catch them and bring them into reality. And I don't think they're kidding, because it does say here that inspiration fairies like their jobs, but they get really bored when people don't pay attention to them, and pay attention is italicized. And then the last sentence of this says, they have something wonderful to offer you, but it is up to you to catch them and bring them into reality. So in regards to our recent tarot reoccurring themes, we're supported. We're definitely supported, and this was necessary for our growth, because after all, this straight up said, like, yeah, you have to go through some stuff you have to grow through it. And when you do, you take those lessons, like the plants that take the nutrients from that fertilizer, and they transmute it, they turn it into something that they grow from. Just like we can take the lessons that we've emerged from, that we've made our initiation through, that we've made it, and grow from them. But it is telling us, this is supporting our wings. Definitely go with it. If you're called to do something, do it. If you're inspired to do something, do it. This is even me doing this now, playing with my inner child again and opening myself up to this guidance. And it's been helping a lot, even if it just helps me feel a little bit better. And that in itself is underestimated, unfortunately, so often, our happiness. Wow. Thank you, Penelope. Thank you, Singer of Transfiguration. Before I go on, would you like to see the cards so far? This is the Singer of Transfiguration. And this is Penelope Dreamweaver. All right, next we have unity. And unity appeared upside down. Unity, union, mystical experience, spiritual home. Unity comes first and last. In between, we have the illusion of duality, which we all believe in for a very long time. This apparent duality is ultimately shown to be an illusion, but it is an illusion through which we must pass, through which we learn and grow, and then once again return to unity. You may have had mystical experiences where you have had true union with other beings, or even with unity, the one who is all. Such experiences change our lives, effectively showing us that the saying, "we are all one," is not just a pious belief, but is a statement of actual fact. We are not separate like the flowers in a field, but are one. The only way to reach the awareness is to surrender the small everyday self to the larger spiritual self, which is unity. Experiencing full oneness with the unity is transformative. Look at this painting, one observer notes. Well, let's bring it to the upright position so we can do so. And then we'll put this back so we remember. Looking at this painting, one observer notes, all the power is focused in here, vast energies. It is as if all that power is looking for a place to happen. This is exactly what is going on. Unity is the energy of the cosmos, still unmanifest, still without form. Here we see the dark and the light, masculine and feminine, active and passive, and all other polarities, all expressed in balanced, energy-filled, vibrant union. All that is one, and that one is God/Dis, is the principle expressed. From this, all else derives. This is a source from which we draw our strength, our very being. And reversed. We can upright this when we consider that we may have become overly focused on the differences and disagreements that seem to separate us from others, and this may be preventing us from achieving our potential for fulfillment and happiness. We may feel alienated, unwanted, and lonely. If this is so, we need to refocus on what we have in common with those around us, far and near. We may need to heal our own attitudes and our beliefs that contribute to these feelings of separation, and we could usefully consider how we might find reconciliation with others. Forgiveness may be a key. And that's been a reoccurring theme in the tarot readings too, to forgive and forgive and forgive. Prejudice and judgmental and critical attitudes all push us farther into the delusion of separateness and loneliness. Maybe some of us weren't wanting to forgive. Maybe some of us were holding on to that. And this suggests move toward allowing others to be closer to you, gradually dropping the defensive attitudes that hold them away and keep you alone. Don't wait for others to make the first move toward reconciliation and connection, but reach out to them with compassion and selflessness. This may be difficult, even very difficult at first, requiring self-study and inner work, possibly with the help of skilled teachers or therapists. In meditation and prayer, ask to be in communion with the unity deep within yourself. In unity, there is trust, love, and ecstasy. So that might be very heavy for some of us to receive, because it's saying for us not to wait for others to make the first move toward reconciliation and connection, but to reach out to them with compassion and selflessness. Some of us, and I think evidenced here by it being upside down, I've righted it so that we can straighten our wing or strengthen our wings, untwist them, so to speak. It's suggesting that we don't wait for others to make the first move, but I don't think that it's saying that we need to necessarily go and reach out to people that have wronged us physically. There are other ways that you can do this. It just occurred to me before we move on. I feel like this needs to be said, and I don't know why, so let's just go with it. If it resonates, it resonates. If not, then don't pick it up, because then it's meant for someone else. But when this was written as don't wait for others to make the first move toward reconciliation and connection, I don't feel that it's telling us to go rushing to people of our past that we may have cut off or may have cut ties with, because that for some of us might even be dangerous. Rather, I think what it means is to put that burden down, to let it go by forgiving the other person. But that doesn't mean that you need to go tell them like in a bold proclamation like, hello, I forgive you, and here is my official declaration of forgiveness, and here I wrote it on this paper, and here's a chart that shows the level of forgiveness. I don't think that's what it's saying, but rather we can forgive within ourselves. We can consider some people haven't done their spiritual work. They've left a lot of self-work undone and have avoided that. And those of us that have been continuing with our self-work and have been doing our best to be our best selves and align with our highest truths, are now in a place of, I think, shedding old skin or transformation within the cocoon and breaking the cocoon shell open. And even though we've been in the dark for so long and it hurts, maybe it was tight, things were tight, we're emerging now, we're supported. And by not forgiving this other person, it's not doing anything to them. I mean, some of us might even be dealing with some people that want us to stay upset with them. And that's what I think, wow, I feel that now strongly. That's what's important about forgiveness. It's not just because like, oh, it'll make the other person, it's regardless of the other person. It has nothing to do with it. It has to do with you. Because if you don't forgive another person, and if you don't let that go as part of, okay, so they didn't rise up to their highest potential there, and I can either hold that against them, or I can just see it as, okay, so that's like if you were to be in a school situation, it's like seeing this other person fail a test, and maybe you were on the same team, and that test, if they had passed it, it would have ensured that your team would succeed together. But now it's like they might not have been able to do that, or they might have not chosen to do that. Maybe it wasn't a question of ability, but rather a choice. And they don't necessarily need to know that we've forgiven them. It's important for us to release that anger, though. Like the 10 of Wands that kept coming up, it's important for us to put that burden down. Because keeping ourselves thinking about, and even if we're right, even if what they did was despicable and disgusting and so many other things, holding on to it isn't going to affect them. It affects us. It affects our well-being. We could be sitting there receiving the most beautiful thoughts of things to create, the most beautiful images to paint, the most beautiful poetry to write, the most beautiful songs to sing, with the most beautiful things to bring forth, but then we're over there thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe this person did whatever, and I didn't know, and I knew, or maybe I ignored it because I couldn't believe it, or I wanted to manifest something different, so I just like tried so hard to hope against hope, even though I had the feelings that were indicating that it didn't matter how much I hoped because this being was choosing something else. I mean, whatever. I'm not trying to activate that here. The tarot already acknowledged all of that. And here we're receiving guidance to let that go, to forgive, to just see it as the person like in class that failed a test and they were our partner and we were supposed to like advance to levels with them and let it go. It's really unfortunate because actually another tarot reader was saying that this whole situation changed something in the Akashic records, which I don't really know too much about. I'm just kind of starting my whole understanding of such things, but we might have been in a place where we were called to create with someone and make amazing magic happen, but of course we all have free will, and if that wasn't chosen again, like our mission, and it just became your mission, or however you'd like to word it, it just wasn't working with just your or our energy pushing it forward. And that's where it was like, okay, it's done, it's over. The test has been failed. You made it through. You made it through your initiation. And guess what? They didn't. And you can, keep yourself turned backwards, looking back at that, like all that happened, all those dreams that you have to let go of. All those wishes and hopes that you put so much energy into. It has to be let go of. Because we're moving this way. We're moving upward. We're evolving. We made it through our initiation. And no amount of turning around and looking back at the things that we were going to do with them is going to bring them through this gate. They already messed it up. Or they would be here with us. Still. And in a healthy, powerful, positive way. The singer of transfiguration is here. Though, and Penelope Dreamweaver is here. We're supported. We hit the jackpot. We've been initiated. We made the next level. Penelope is giving us inspiration by remembering that we are all united. We can forgive. We can let go of that. It's like that kid that failed the test. Okay, so apparently a new partner is coming in a lot of the tarot similarities. Why are words escaping me right now? Some of the recurring themes have been involving some person that's supposed to come in. But I'm also wondering if sometimes some of the readers get too caught up in doing the love readings that they read it all as like a person. Because for myself, I've been wondering if maybe it's not so much a person, because I don't know. I hang out with my kids and I work on my computer. I go out to get groceries and sometimes I even have those delivered. I don't know how I would meet someone. I mean, maybe I'm not closing myself off, but I'm also acknowledging my own place. And if anyone resonates with me here, then we were watching these readings like, oh, okay, so this person, were you just gonna like show up at the door? You're like, are you gonna be like the grocery delivery person and we're just gonna have this amazing connection when you leave the groceries? Or like, I don't know, are we gonna meet at the grocery store? I mean, we might, maybe, I don't know. It's just, I guess it felt like it didn't resonate, but it keeps coming back. So then I wondered, and I noticed that a lot of the tarot readers do love readings, so maybe it occurred to me, at least, that maybe they're coming from a place of, yeah, it's going to be a new love, but it might be a new love of yourself. You might be proud of yourself. What if we're really proud of ourselves and people are reading it like, oh, there's this new person, but what if, yeah, it's this new person, it's you, maybe. I mean, it could be, right? Like, because I don't know, for some reason that resonates with me a lot more than some person just coming in and all of this. So I'm happy with this. I'm really happy with this. Thank you. And if anyone's here with me on this page, I mean, I hope this resonates with you and helps bring you some peace too, because yes, we made it through. We're being inspired and guided. Maybe some of us were looking back and thinking about these things that we can forgive and just let go of. See it as, it's like in school, someone else failed a test and okay, but you're moving forward. We're moving forward. We did it. Let's go on and see what the topsy-turvies have to say. But let's introduce them. I'm sorry, the topsy-turvettes. I'm sorry. Change of viewpoint, fresh looks, new ways of seeing. When life is confusing, the turvettes may come to visit you. Nothing draws them like a bit of mental muddle. They don't cause our disarray. We are very good at doing that for ourselves and each other, but they are attracted to it. Confusion is an important stage of growth, and they delight in helping things to grow. They live everywhere. Not only humans need their help and are exceedingly busy. Fortunately, they are quite prolific, so there are a lot of them. When the topsy-turvettes show up, it indicates that someone needs to look again, to make an effort to see things from a different point of view. It suggests that confusion may exist because we are asking the wrong questions. Or perhaps we have made assumptions that are incorrect and we have run into a brick wall built of those misconceptions. The turvettes ask us to back up, to question our assumptions, and to try to see things from the viewpoints of the other people involved in the muddle. They ask us to let go of our attachment to our own point of view, to stop saying ought and should, especially about other people. Most emphatically, they suggest that we start trying to see things as they really are instead of as someone thinks they should be. This card is a warning that someone involved in the question or issue at hand is mentally upside down, or possibly sideways. In a reading, the turvettes suggest that things need to be looked at from another angle. We need to back off from our emotional entanglement and look anew. Much of the apparent confusion about the issue is caused by a faulty point of view. Get the opinions of honest others and then relook at your own. Defensiveness and denial may be causing much difficulty. Try imagining that you are looking at the situation from the point of view of each of the others involved. This is not an exercise in deciding how the other ought to see things, but in discovering how they really do. Words like, he ought to see that, are not useful at this time. If the turvettes card turns up and another point of view does not readily suggest itself, it may be useful to draw another card for further information. Or you might choose to do another reading addressing that issue independently. Remember to pause to listen for hints from the turvettes themselves. They are experts in the field. And here Brian adds a note. The artist, I believe no fairy is completely good or bad, but fluidly embodies both extremes. Wow, and that's something intriguing for him to say. Also considering there's an entire book that he's released, and it's kind of cool. Like when you look at it, it's not just like all one way. It's like it's this way, and then when you turn it around, it's you'll have to look at it like what would be upside down to this side, and it's like good fairies and bad fairies. So it's interesting that Brian Froud is saying that he believes no fairy is completely good or bad, but fluidly embodies both extremes, because he did release a book called Good Fairies, Bad Fairies, and talks about these extremes within them. So I think this might be going back to with that upside down unity, and it was the topsy-turvette like helping us turn around. That maybe we were allowing this to really weigh us down with what happened. But again, it's like, okay, if you've been to school or are in school, it might be like, okay, so this other person failed and maybe your group project didn't work out, but okay, you're moving on to the next grade. You are meeting new people in this new grade. You're moving to the next school. You're moving to the next class, the next wherever. That other person is where they are, without putting any blame or shaming them, and choosing my words as cautiously as again, which is interesting because I noticed the card before this is the Arval Parrot, which I saw in a reading for myself earlier, about communication. Sometimes I was rushing things or staying bottled up. That was the big one. So it was either things were bubbling on out or else I wasn't speaking up when things needed to be spoken up with. And with that's my own thing, though I'm not trying to bring myself into here, but I just thought it was interesting how there's the communication here. But with the Topsy Turvets coming here, and they were just looking at unity being turned. It's like we were turning backward, looking back, and that's what's causing a twist in this wing. We may have been needing to let things go, and we can do that by looking at things from a different perspective. So instead of thinking like, oh, that person should have or ought to have, however, done X, Y, and Z differently, seeing it from a different perspective is, okay, yeah, they could have, and it might have been great, and maybe in some record it was supposed to happen, but this is where it has happened in this way, where you have made the initiation complete. You've gone through this. You're being inspired. You can remember that in unity, perhaps you can find forgiveness. By remembering that we are all connected and we all learn. There is always a shadow where there is a light. And this is reminding us to look at things from another perspective to help us let down the load that we might have been carrying. Indy is upside down here. And let's see about Indy. Indy, indecision, wishy-washing, commitment, decision-making. If you don't get him on the wish, you might catch him on the wash, but probably not, because by the time you think you've got a commitment from him, he's swung the other way again. Poor Indy. He can't decide between this and that, or is it that and this? If he just had more information, if he just had some kind of guarantee about the outcome, if only he could be certain about things. Well, he can't. That isn't how life is. Indy sits on our shoulder as we wobble around trying to make a decision, and just as we think we've about got it, he mutters, but what if... And very likely we dissolve into confusion again. Decisions make him nervous because they involve commitment, and Indy seems to be frightened of that. What if he makes the wrong decision and it ruins his or someone else's life? What if he makes no decision, dithering forever, and that causes ruin? Oh, that's interesting. How about that? We got the Libra energy, and Jessica Macbeth adds a note here. I feel for Indy, and not only because I'm a Libra, so this is all about Libra here, and I didn't know she was a Libra. For he is the only one of the Faerie challengers who doesn't know what we should be doing. That is, he knows we should be making our decisions clearly and cleanly at the appropriate time, and he has some ideas about how we might more easily go about that, but he is not himself a good decision maker. Sometimes he whispers almost tearfully in my ear, "You're going to drive me mad, if you don't just make up your mind." There are many reasons why we hesitate when decision and action are appropriate. However, most of them boil down to fear. Fear of making a mistake, fear of harming others, fear of losing something of value to us, fear of harming ourselves, fear of responsibility, fear that we are simply not able to make a proper decision. We need to look honestly at our insecurities, recognizing them for what they are, our insecurities, not reality. Then we need to resolve what we can and set the rest in the balance against what will surely happen if we continue to hesitate. Premature decisions and actions often cause problems, but lack of decision is a decision also, and one that creates its own set of misfortunes. Indy is also known as the Libra's bane. Oh, but an indecisive Libra truly is Indy's bane. He would be so relieved if we would just make our decisions and our commitments and stick to them. Then he might learn to do this for himself and be in a better position to help others. caught up in Indy's energy. One Oracle group member, who is usually a great decision maker herself, responded to the above paragraph, "You lost me here. How would our learning to make decisions help Indy to make better decisions? Would it really? Then what would he do? How would he better help other beings having problems with this? Or would the other beings that are having problems cause Indy not to learn to make his own decisions? Or are there no people that Indy knows that he can learn from now so that he could be different? Or are we talking global change here?" What I was trying to say was that sometimes it is possible to learn from watching others learn. Indy would like to do this. Then he might be better able to teach those processes. Or perhaps not. At least I think that is what I mean. The Unity card knows there are plenty of beings who need help with this. Wow, it references the Unity card and it's here too. See, it's so neat how these all match up. It's like talking about the Unity card there. And being that this is turned around, how do we straighten our wing? This says, okay, it sounds like Jessica wrote it in reference to the starter reading, because it starts off, "On the other hand, Indy might be right to hesitate." So let's read a little bit of the starter reading. It says, "It's decision time. Time to make up your mind, make a decision, and then stick to your commitments." Okay, that would be if it were here. So with it being reversed, we were being called out with, or maybe not called out, but suggested with, "On the other hand, Indy might be right to hesitate. He may not have enough information to make an informed decision, and neither may you. Hesitate while you question. Find out more. True, we never will have real guarantees from the universe about our decisions and their outcomes, but caution is appropriate here. Learn more, get agreements in writing. If it doesn't feel right, maybe it isn't right. Consider well before you make promises about this, but once you do, make the commitment, stick to it." Okay, so that's interesting. So now let's read to this. So, okay, now that it's righted, it's decision time. Time to make up your mind, make a decision, and then stick to your commitments. Set yourself a definite time period to complete your decision, right down to the day and hour. Give yourself time to put the decision into practice before it is too late. Once that arbitrary but carefully judged decision time is set, ask for guidance for your highest good, and then weigh, consider, ponder, and gather information. If we do this, and if we have asked for aid, the answer seems somehow to fall magically into place at the appointed time. Then it is just a matter of trusting that answer and carrying it through. We can ask for help with that as well if we wish. It is willingly given. So maybe some of us have been faced with a decision that was weighing heavily upon us. And being that this was reversed, I think it was telling us to learn more. It was saying caution is appropriate here. So it was talking about fear. Many reasons we hesitate when decision and action are appropriate boil down to fear of making a mistake, harming others, losing things of value, harming ourselves, responsibility, simply not able to make the proper decision. All of those things might be keeping us stuck in place. But then Indy also had us recognize that being stuck in place is also a choice in itself and brings its own set of misfortunes. Like, for example, something simple could be like, oh, should I do the laundry right now or should I do it later? And then it's like, if you get busy with other things, then it doesn't get done. And then you didn't make a decision. And then all of a sudden the laundry piled up and you didn't get it done. And it's like, oh, if I had done it then, or if I had at least made a time or an alarm and set, like, you know, at whatever time when I have things that I need to get done before then I will dedicate this time to doing that. Because if you don't, then of course you wanted to move forward with your clean laundry and weren't able to if you allowed that to sit stagnant. So what this, I feel, is telling us is that to straighten this wing and for us to be ready for this wing to be straightened, I mean, the first sentence is straight up, it is decision time to make up your mind. But being that it was reversed, it's telling us that we need more information and caution is appropriate, learn more, get agreements in writing. And if it doesn't feel right. Maybe it isn't right. Consider that. Consider the feeling. And that once you do make the commitment, stick to it. So once we figure out what it is that we are going to align ourselves with regarding whatever this decision is, then it's decision time. Then it's time to go forth with it. Stick to it. Make it happen. Wow. Yes, this resonates deeply. And our card that was here at the bottom, Iris of the Rainbows. And it was upright. Says hope. Wow, promise for the future. Blue skies and rain are the realm of Iris, the rainbow fairy. She dwells at the meeting of air, which is our element, the element of mind, and water, the element of emotion. She sits, rainbow-hued wings outspread, suspended in mid-air, partially wrapped in her deep sky draperies and crowned with iris blossoms. The fairy archers tip their arrows in her potent handful of iridescent light. Firing their arrows, they send polychromatic rays into the storm, bringing light to dismal skies and hope to darkened hearts. Beneath the rainbow fairy, the amphibious creatures of a wet earth crouch. The fairy frog maiden and the frog, anyone care to kiss them and see what happens? Peer out from their shelter at the storm-racked world while the shadowed sun is dimly seen above Iris's head. Sturdy, pot-bellied gnomes, their toes rooted in the earth, sport sweeping whiskers to prove their entitlement to the single iris crowns, while the helpful fairy amphibians hold transparent rainbow-filled globes for the rainbow fairy. Everyone, especially Iris herself, is fully absorbed in the task of reclaiming the bright sky from the dark of the storm. Wow. In her hand, the light of heaven's bow looks a fragile thing, yet it is the light of hope, the promise of healing and joy to come, and that is one of the most powerful things there is. Wow! Iris tells us that light is breaking through our present darkness. Yes, and that hope is the powerful factor in speeding up this process. She does not promise us that the storm is over, nor does she say that it will never storm again, but she does say that there is brightness and beauty here. She also tells us that there is something to be gained by this passage through the storm, and the sooner we learn what it is, the sooner the storm will end. Always, a passage through the storm is a time of potential growth, a time to allow the dead wood of our past to be blown away to make room for the green shoots of new growth. At this point, it is useful to ask ourselves what we still need to release, and to look after protecting and nurturing the seeds we have planted. Iris suggests that the cultivation of patience may also be helpful at this time. The storm is breaking up. Are we ready for the change? If we are presently frogs, the fairies say, the time of our transformation, foretold by the rainbow, may be at hand. Then we shall be kissed by the puissant light of the sun, and discover if we are still frogs or if we have become something much more. Winged female fairies are the soul's messengers, says Brian, representing the spirit freed from the mundane. They are creatures of aspiration and transcendence, flying between the worlds, between heaven and earth, between the body and the soul. Wow. I really hope this resonates, because this has been a beautiful, beautiful and uplifting reading. Wow, I feel so much better. Oh, and I feel so much better sharing this with other Libras. I hope this resonates for you all too. And we made it. We're being inspired. Let's forgive, remembering that we are all connected. Let's look at things from a fresh perspective in order to do this very thing. Look at these two closest to us. These are like right there. Let's find more information so that it's decision time and we have everything straight. We have everything taken care of. We're supported with Iris of the Rainbows. Oh, and I meant to do this along the way. I'm sorry. Oh, I'll get better at this. But let's look at this together. So this is the Singer of Transfiguration. This is Penelope Dreamweaver. This is Unity. These are the Topsy Turvettes. This is Indy. And this is Iris of the Rainbows. Okay, and we will draw one card from the Angels and Ancestors deck. Let's see what they offer us in regards to all Libra, not just myself, all Libras messages that we've been receiving in tarot lately. Angels and Ancestors, what do you have to say in addition to the fairies? What do you have to say, Angels and Ancestors, to enhance the message of the fairies today? So we have winter. Take care of your needs. Take care of your needs. And at the bottom of the deck, we have White Witch. Be the light. Be the light, especially if some of us are inspired not to. Inspired to turn back. Let's be the light. All right. I hope that this has helped you. It's helped me. I hope that it's helped you. And I hope that you all feel a little lighter after all of that. I wish all of you the best. With all that you have been carrying, letting it go, moving forward. Your transcendence is here. Our transcendence is here. So let's share our gifts and move forward together. Hello again, Libras. I just realized that it might have been even more helpful if I had actually gone into winter and White Witch, but maybe this was just talking to me, but I think it's talking to a lot of us, because sometimes I think in our taking care of everyone else we forget to take care of ourselves. But I had to take care of some things and now I'm back. But let's dive into winter a little bit more. Okay. Winter. Take care of your needs. Do everything you need to be at your best, then move beyond your fears and limitations. For many of the animal realm, winter is a time of hibernation and retreat. You may wish to curl up in a ball too, but although you may not feel as bright as you'd like to be, a primal force within is encouraging you to continue. The winter card features a wolf, one of few animals that stay active all year around. Wolves know what it's like to work alone or thrive within a pack, so if you feel you need to go it alone at this time, know that wolf medicine will help you move beyond your insecurities and relax in your own space. You have an opportunity to move beyond your fears. Although you may feel in the dark, get comfortable with being in the unknown and trust that the light within you will sustain you through what may seem a challenging process. Ask yourself what you need to do to feel supported and alive. You may uncover something from your past that you have buried deep. Know that when you unearth it and shed light on it, you create space for miracles. You may feel like a lone wolf right now, but it's time for you to be on the alpha. When the winter card arrives in the future position of a spread or as the last card in a reading, It can also indicate that the coming winter will usher in important energies with regards to your question or intentions. So if a lot of us had intentions to move forward through this initiation and taking our inspiration with us and forgiving, letting go, making our decisions supported here, this winter sounds like it's going to be a magical, amazing time. And I love that it arrived with another pentacle or circle here, because in traditional tarot, pentacles are often associated with money. So, I mean, winter is coming. And it sounds like for those of us that listen to our inspiration and let go of things that are weighing us down and might have been causing us indecision, by giving things a fresh perspective, that we will continue with our transfiguration, that we are here with Iris of the Rainbows and a White Witch, be the light. Let's see. Oh wow, look, I just opened up. I had a moment looking for the other one because I was trying to be all by the book and look at the table of contents and look at and now I just kind of opened it, White Witch. Okay, be the light. Take the higher road and choose the light. Remove yourself from lower energy experiences. Yep. Forgiveness. The White Witch card represents the maiden aspect of the triple goddess of paganism and modern Wicca. The maiden is a gentle, innocent, and pure aspect of the goddess, a loving soul who wants nothing but the best for the whole earth. Here she is joined by a horned owl, showing that she is willing to respect those with more wisdom and experience than she has, but she's also willing to trust what she feels to be right within. With this card, you are being reminded of the goodness within. No matter what is happening to you or around you, you have a choice. Choose not to be pulled into dramas, bickering, or energies that are just going to limit your joy. If you're surrounded by people who are hostile towards you or someone else, or you are in a negative situation, perhaps in your workplace, you are invited to be the light. You are an incredible person who can really bring light. So how can you change the energy? How can you redirect the conversation to love? How can you protect yourself? How can you help the person that is being picked on? Or are you the one who is guilty of causing a drama? Only you will know the answers. Know also that you are being encouraged to shine the light you were born to share. Wow. So if shining the light we were born to share, and we're over here with Iris, with the rainbow light made from bringing in the water of our emotions in balance with our air, we can make rainbows. We can be the light. This has been a really beautiful reading. Please pardon me for not adding this to the original reading. I will be uploading both of these, and I'll also be uploading the other reading from yesterday. I was having some issues with my computer, and then I was confused on how to do some stuff, so it was taking a little longer. But it'll come up soon. It'll dive more into the other reading in detail and show the cards as they are arriving. And I'd also like to let everyone know that I wish you a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, a wonderful whatever time it is, wherever you are. I hope that this reading has been helpful to you. I hope that it brought you some guidance. I hope that it brought you some inspiration. I hope it brought you some peace, Libras. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful whatever it is, wherever you are. Good night from myself, and good night to those of you who are going to sleep too.